Hello, this is Ken Sylvester along with Robin Alexis. We are here today to bring you another podcast from the Believe Me movement. Our special guest in a seat of honor today is Ginger. Ginger saw ETs in a vision and it scared her. She is on our show today to figure out who these beings are and what they want from her. Ginger, please tell us this extraordinary story.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for having me on. Well, I recently had a session with a Rasha machine, which is, for those of you that don't know what that is, it's based on quantum physics. It's a scalar plasma energy device that essentially is supposed to harmonize your nervous system and break the fight or flight pattern. And so you put headphones on and you listen to specific sound healing frequencies, and it takes about an hour to an hour and a half. And so my first session with this machine was very relaxing and vivid, meditative, and I felt the sound frequencies go to specific parts of my body that actually I knew needed some support. So I thought, like, wow, this is amazing. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So my second session was last week, and I was expecting the same kind of thing, and I had a really different experience. It was uncomfortable. I had like this really strong pain moving from one spot in my body to another, like it was like jumping around, and it really hurt. It was making me, I had to keep shifting in my chair, and it was taking my focus away from any kind of meditation. I was just focusing on my physical body. And I was really restless during the whole time, like thinking, when is this going to be over, which is not good and not the way it's supposed to be. So when the session was over, my therapist came in and asked how the session was, and I said it wasn't great. Like, nothing happened. I didn't see anything. I didn't see any colors. I didn't have any experiences other than my physical body was hurting so much through the whole thing. And she smiled and she said, "So you didn't see anything?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I saw the house that I grew up in when I was a little girl." And she was like, "Okay, here we go. Tell me." And I said, "Well, it was nothing. I just was back at the house, walking around my house, but I was young. I was not this age. I was back, like, I don't know, maybe 4, 5 years old. And as I was walking around my house, I was like really there. I could smell all the smells. I was like examining the wallpaper and the carpet and opening up drawers and cabinets and remembering what was in. It was like I was really there. Then the next thing I knew, I was in my bedroom and I was getting into bed because it was nighttime. The lights were out, and then all of a sudden I felt this terror in my body. And I looked up over by my window and I saw, I used to call them monsters when I was little. I could see them. Like in 3D, I could see them standing there. And when I was a little girl, I used to see them, but I was so afraid to look at them that I never really looked at their faces or anything. But in this session, I was looking at their faces and I could see 2 of them really clearly. I felt like there were maybe 4 of them in the room, but I couldn't see the other 2. And then I just remembered, like, every night I would wake up and run to my parents' room screaming and crying because there was something in my room by the window. And every night I felt dismissed and put back in my bed and told to go to sleep. And so it was basically like, there are no monsters. Look, here, we'll turn the light on. Light goes on, nothing's there. Get back in bed and go back to sleep. So I dealt with nightmares for years when I was young. and I actually saw them again, like for real. And so I told my therapist this, and she is very intuitive, and she said, well, I can tell you they're still with you. She said, when you travel, you don't travel alone. And that really freaked me out. And I said, you can see them? She said, yeah, I can see them with you, and they shouldn't be with you like this. So they're like siphoning off of you. So that's when I knew I needed help, because I was convinced I was just having nightmares, and actually I was really seeing something in my room.
Wow.
And so I have questions. I want to know, like, why are they here? What do they want? Like, did I agree for them to be around me? You know, and also just on a side note, this week was a really bad week. Like, I've been in a lot of physical pain this week and really depressed. I had a really bad week this week, and I knew that it was from that. So, yeah, I'm hoping I can get some help.
Well, Robin, this sounds like something for you.
Okay. So, Ginger, and even Ken, let's all of us take 3 good deep breaths to get nice and grounded and into the presence of now. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment here to kind of make sure we're all sovereign, because I'm feeling like our energies are a little tethered together, and I want Ginger to be really in her own essence. And Ginger, if there's anything I say at any time that you feel isn't true, or you know it isn't true, even if I'm on a roll talking, please just jump in, because this healing is for you, and you need to be in charge of it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm asking your higher self, which is the part of you that knows the most about you, how it wants us to approach this. And it's telling me that it wants to do the kind of the regular way when I'm giving a private phone reading. I have a certain prayer protocol that I use, and it helps me do psychic detective work. So I'm going to start with looking at your relationship to mother-father. And I am hearing stop right there. Now, when I'm talking about mother-father, I don't mean your biological mother and father, or, you know, whoever raised you as mother and father. I'm talking about the cosmic, divine mother-father energy. And that energy communicates to us through the high heart, which is an energy organ in the center of our heart. So I'm looking at your high heart, Ginger, and normally that high heart energy, it has 12 planes of consciousness with 12 levels in each plane. And that's where I feel like these beings are kind of hijacking your field. Like something happened probably when you came into human form. And there's a lot of shuffling noise in the background, so that might be distracting to listeners. So let's just, yeah, there we go. That's better. Let's quiet the energy. So, Ginger, we're going to go back to, it looks like we're going to go back to your preconception of coming into this lifetime. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go with your higher self and the overlighting diva of your preconception karmic boardroom. And let's go into your preconception karmic boardroom. And I see you sitting there. And there's still shuffling noises in the background. I don't know if that's human or otherwise, but let's go ahead and quiet the energy. It's pretty, it's like something that's trying to distract me from focusing. Now, Ginger, when I'm in that karmic boardroom, do you feel yourself in there, or you can't do stuff like that?
I can see myself in there.
Okay, good. Then let's first of all look at the beings. Let's have Archangel Michael bring, it does look like there's 4 different beings. Let's have them sit across the table from you. And as you look at them, because they're all there, I want you to communicate to them one at a time. Is that all right with you, Ginger?
Yes, I can't see the 3rd and 4th one, though. I can feel them, but I don't know what they look like.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. The first one, wow, there's a lot of noise in the background. It's really distracting me.
I'm not hearing on this end, by the way.
I don't hear it either.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, I hope it doesn't come through on the show. It's like somebody else is on the phone call with us, and they're shuffling papers and just being really distractive. So who knows what that's all about. But so, Ginger, this first being that's sitting across the table from you, I want you to ask it, do you have any kind of soul contract with that particular being? And tell me what you hear.
I didn't hear anything, but I don't feel like I do.
Okay. Then that being, let me double check that because I got no also. Yes. So that being has broken universal law. If you do not have a soul contract where you've allowed that being to be in your field, it's broken universal law, and we need to call in the Universal Police and the Karmic Board and have Archangel Michael escort that being out of your Karmic Boardroom and have it be held accountable for breaking universal law. And I'm getting a lot of energy coming here, like it's really not happy. And I may go into some other languages, or I don't know what I'm going to do here. Okay, the energy's starting to calm down. It's being escorted out of your Karmic Boardroom. And I ask that any way that that being has affected you, past, present, parallel, future, throughout all time, space, and beyond, 7 generations back and 7 generations forward, be released, wiped off clean, sent back to source, null and void of all information, calling upon higher consciousness to send forgiveness now. Now, I'm feeling a lot of energy, and again, I'm hearing all kinds of noises on my phone that evidently you guys aren't hearing. Ginger, what are you feeling as this communication is taking place?
I just got really cold and got like major goosebumps. So that's all I needed. I know you did something.
Okay, then I am hearing proceed in reading. We're going to look at the second being, and you said you had some kind of a visual of that one. Go ahead and ask that being, does it have permission from you to be having any communication with you?
No.
I saw the same thing. So once again, we call in the Karmic Board, we call in the Universal Police to hold that being accountable, and we ask for Archangel Michael to remove that being from your preconception Karmic Boardroom. And if it be thy will, may the powers of nature converge and release any energy interfering with the divine right authority of Ginger to decree who she will and will not interact with. And if it be thy will, may the powers of nature converge and bring in the support she needs to protect her, to give her the proper boundaries so that nothing like that happens to her again. And we ask that all eggs, barbs, nesting materials, foams, shards, spaceships, walk-ins, mind control programs, artificial intelligence programs, anything known or unknown in this language or in any other that has been adversely affecting the well-being of Ginger be released, wiped off clean, sent back to source, null and void of all information, instructing those beings of universal law and calling upon higher consciousness to send forgiveness. And any of the energy that is piggybacked on that, go away. If she didn't give the other one permission, she certainly doesn't give you permission, and you're all hijacking her sovereignty. You're all breaking her free will, and that is unacceptable. There we go. The energy's moving. What are you feeling now, Ginger?
Just really cold again.
Okay. Now, to me, when a person feels really cold, when they're getting a clearing, it means it's going really deep, meaning it got into your cells, it got into your DNA, and you're going really, really deep. And I think we're going to stop right here and look at that. My feeling, Ginger, is that you might have been a twin very early on. Does that resonate to you?
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes if we had a twin, even if it was early on, in terms, we call that the vanished twin syndrome, that sometimes we come in with a twin, and if the twin leaves and we don't know it, the ETs, especially sneaky ones, they know that the communication between twins is hypersensitive. So if you had a twin, known or unknown to you, but in your case you have suspected it or you knew it, these beings probably came in on that opening. Does that resonate to you, Ginger?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm feeling sorrow in my heart here. Ginger, so you were aware you had a twin. Did you know when the twin left you, and did you agree for that twin to leave you, or did the twin break a contract with you? How did that all work for you?
I didn't find this out until recently, but so I wasn't aware of it growing up or anything, but no, I believe that the twin just decided to leave, and I didn't have a say in it.
Okay, so someone very sacred to you in the womb, which is it's the most intimate time that we can have with our mothers and or twin, or if we have other multiples, didn't change the contract with you, but just up and left, which left you very vulnerable to psychic infiltration. And so these are the energy systems that we're addressing and closing down now. So I'm very sorry that you had a twin who evidently abandoned you in utero without consulting you and left you kind of high and dry and open book for this type of thing to happen to you. One of the ways that you have the right to make sure that never happens to you again is make sure that in your preconception soul contracts, you say, as a sovereign soul, you never, ever, ever want to have anything to do with a twin or anyone else who's going to come in and break a contract with you without consulting you and negotiating it, because you can see it's caused you harm. Does that resonate to you?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and with the awareness you have now, kind of just start to sign a new contract with your own soul and your own soul's experiences. We're going to maybe do that again after we address the next two ETs that are here. But there you go. I can feel you doing it. Are you signing that right now? Because I feel you doing that. Okay. All right. Let me know when you're ready to look at these other two beings.
I'm ready.
Okay. So one of them that I'm seeing doesn't really look like an extraterrestrial to me. This being looks like a spirit of a man, and he's calling himself Matthew. So let me know if that resonates to you.
Yes.
Okay. Then did you ever feel, or do you presently have some kind of relationship with someone known as Matthew?
Yes.
Okay. And when you look at your soul contract with this soul spirit you know as Matthew, does it feel like it's okay to have that now that the ET interference is gone from your twin abandoning you? Does the relationship with Matthew feel like it's safe and okay?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, then let's leave that alone. And I can see the spirit of Matthew smiling.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Matthew wants to say something too, and he said something before you did. So let me see what he's going to say. Matthew's saying that he wants to come to you more now that the interference is released. Is that something you're comfortable with, Ginger?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and what did you want to ask?
Well, I'm just curious. So when I was in this Rasha session this past week and I felt for people or beings or whatever there, I guess I knew that Matthew was there, but he wasn't there when I was a little girl, correct? It was just the two of those beings that you just got rid of?
Well, you got rid of them because you have the power.
Okay.
I guided you. You're always in your own authority.
Okay.
Let's go back and look at when you were a little girl. And is that so? You saw 4 when you were a little girl too. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't really know how many there were, but in this week's session now I saw 4, so I just assumed there was always 4, but because I couldn't see the other 2 faces, maybe they weren't always there. Maybe they were just there to help me.
Okay, so I want to help you communicate with Matthew. So I would like you to ask Matthew if he was showing his soul spirit to you when you were like 4 years old, maybe even trying to protect you from those other ETs or letting you know, or is he just here now when you're an adult? You get your answers, and then I'll tell you what I also see, and then either we'll validate or we'll go deeper in exploring what your situation is.
My feeling is that he was not there when I was young, but is there now just to try to protect me.
Yeah, my whole body lit up when you said that. Ken, did you have any response with that? Did you get a feeling in your body at all, or feeling?
No, I didn't on that one. I did on the second.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was pretty scary. And for people who are listening to this Believe Me Movement podcast, I would not be comfortable doing this depth of work that I'm doing psychically unless Ken was also holding energy. So it's really important for people who are listening to Ginger tell her story and maybe, hearing me speak more than Ken. Ken's energy is just as valuable as Ginger's and mine in us, holding the energy to be able to hold these beings accountable. Okay, so I'm moving to the 4th being that I'm seeing. And Ginger, that looks like your father to me, who I'm seeing across the table from you. Does that resonate to you as true?
Yes.
Okay. And is he speaking with you? Is there anything he wants to say to you?
Is there anything he wants to say to me?
Yes. I hear him saying he's apologizing to you, that he didn't know what he didn't know. Now he knows. He always loved you. So go ahead, Ginger, and explain what that means to our audience.
Well, I would say that I ran into my parents' room every night. They were both there, but he showed me a lot of compassion in the space that he could. I don't ever remember feeling dismissed from him. It was just more loving, and actually he would let me fall asleep with him, and then he would put me back in my bed. So I never felt, he never made me feel like I was seeing things or stupid or making things up, not like my mom.
Okay, and now your father's saying to you that he also had experiences when he was a kid, but he never told you or anyone else because he didn't want to be ridiculed by your mother either. But if he could have done what he wanted to do, he would have brought you to your room and rocked you in a chair, and he would have cuddled you, and he would have held you till you fell back to sleep. And he didn't know, he didn't know what to do. He didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's saying, but now he knows, and he says, since he crossed over, he's been able to see a lot of things that kind of made sense to him from his experiences. And part of the reason why he's been so protective of you and your children is because he knew that there was still interference coming into this bloodline, if you will. Does that make sense to you, Ginger?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So as you've been raising your children, did you have experiences that you felt were detrimental to your kids, or did they ever talk to you about stuff, or did you feel like your dad was protecting your kids?
I definitely felt and feel still that he's protecting them. I mean, he has protected them forever, to the point, I mean, I don't want to get off topic, but he woke me up one night in a deep sleep after he had passed. I felt him sitting on my bed, and he was shaking my ankles, telling me to get up. I could hear him, and I kept saying, Dad, I'm tired. I don't want to get up. It was in the middle of the night, and I did get up. He told me to go check on the kids, and because he did that, he ended up saving one of my boys' lives.
Wow. Well, he's saying that whole incident happened because of these dark ETs. And when we call them dark ETs, we mean ETs who break free will, meaning they don't have permission from a soul, spirit, in a human body to do to them what they do. And so your dad is saying that it was something of that nature, and he just wants you to realize that yes, he came to you, and yes, he was protecting you, and that's why what happened. And thank God everybody's safe.
Yeah.
I'm
really grateful. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's grateful to you, that's for sure. Okay, now he's standing up, and Archangel Michael is bringing him out of the room. So those 4 spirits that were in the room, there's Matthew still in the room, and then someone else is coming in by the name of Mick. So you have Mick across the table from you and Matthew. I don't get the sense that Matthew can see Mick, but I think Mick can see Matthew. And Mick, he's really lit up. Like, he almost looks more like a light than human. And he says he wants to talk to you as well. Is that okay with you, Ginger?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, first of all, he says before he starts talking to you, he wants to know how you feel. Like, you've just been through a lot in the last, 15, 20 minutes. How do you feel, Ginger?
I mean, I feel hopeful. I don't really know how my body feels yet, but I feel hopeful that, things are going to change now.
Okay. Well, what Mick would like to do is take your higher self hand and walk with you back in time. So from, how old you are now, right? So obviously you were like a little kid when the ETs came, and we're addressing that, but that's not where we are. He wants to walk with you back to when you were the little girl that was having these experiences, and he wants you to both kneel down and have all of those little girls come back to you, and he wants to be there and witness that with you. Is that okay? You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Then take Mick's hand and go ahead and just that's it. Walk back in time. Go back into that room and let the little girl wake up, and I see her saying, thank God. And as you bring her back into yourself, I want to make sure you bring that energy through the Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing. And I'm seeing all these fragments of that little girl who got freaked out over and over again. It fragmented her inner child. They're all coming through that Venusian portal and moving into your heart. And as they're moving into your heart, you're starting to look a lot healthier to me. And Mick is getting stronger and stronger. And he's saying he told you the other day he couldn't come back. And this is the reason why he couldn't come back, is he needed you to let him help you get the healing that you needed. And here you are. So tell me what you're experiencing now, Ginger.
I just feel really emotional right now. I can feel how scared I used to be, and just to know that those pieces of myself are coming back. I mean, I have, besides having nightmares, I really have no recollection of my childhood at all. I think I was just completely traumatized. So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm really appreciative that we're doing this.
Well, Mick is telling me that you were abducted over and over and over again, and you did have implants. You were taken on ships. There were horrific, terrorizing things that happened to you, and you had absolutely no one that understood that you were supposed to have had a brother, you were supposed to have been protected, and you were completely on your own and abandoned and dismissed, and until now, no one could help you. And now finally, in quantum healing, you're getting the help with him as your guide. Not Robin, but Mick. And there it goes. The energy's getting stronger and stronger with your healing. Now, I may start chanting or singing. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm just feeling so much energy in my throat chakra, just honoring your strength and your courage to allow yourself to see the truth of your life on all levels, Ginger, and let yourself receive healing from Nick and your guide. There you go. That feels better. What are you feeling now?
I just opened up to let the healing in.
And so it is. So when you feel like you've gathered up all those little girls of you, let me know. And then we're going to have you and Mick start walking back in time from when you were 4, and we're going to heal all the things that got injured because you never had the full support that you needed. But you're going to get it today as you've corrected the interference of what we call the bad ETs. And again, bad ETs break universal law. They interfere with our soul's purpose and our ability to receive the energy and the resources we need to fulfill them. It's kind of like, go ahead, Ginger.
Well, I was going to say, one of the little girls is saying she just needs to know something about her eyes. Can I ask you that?
Yes. Let me go to her. Oh, yeah, she looks blind.
Oh,
okay.
Well, so I don't remember how old I was, and it happened over like years, and it wasn't consistent, but I would get these things in my eyes, like my eyes would like flicker or like spin or something, and it would give me a headache. And every time I told my mom that it happened again, she just kind of thought I was making it up. And so she finally took me to an eye doctor, and he didn't believe me either. So he said, why don't you keep a calendar and mark on the days that it happens so we can see if there's a pattern. So I had to do that for a really long time. But it kept happening, and I would get really bad headaches when it happened. Eventually it stopped, but it happened this week.
Well, then there's direct correlation here where when you would be yanked out of your body and fiddled with, if you will, and experimented on and then thrust back into your body and your neurons wouldn't know what to do with it. And so let's bring in the comfort. First of all, let's let the little girl know that you're from the future and that you've come there with your spirit friend Mick and your friend Robin and Ken and the Believe Me movement, and that we do believe her. We know that she speaks the truth and that she saw things that, she didn't know what to do with, but she's safe and we believe her. And let's see if we can get her eyes to calm down. Sometimes sounds like that come out of me. Everyone's heard of sound medicine. And the first sound that we use to heal is our voices. Sometimes we can use drumming. Sometimes we use other instruments. But everyone knows sound is frequency, frequency is energy. And so these sounds just sort of organically come out of me to recalibrate something for, in this case, Ginger's inner child who didn't have anybody to talk to. So Ginger, when you look at your little girl now, what are her eyes doing? Are they still spinning?
No, they're just kind of big and wide, not really blinking, just kind of like shocked that actually somebody's listening.
Okay. So, Ken, are you compelled at all to talk to this little inner girl of Ginger's?
No, but I was feeling something earlier, and I didn't want to interrupt the flow, on the second bad ETs, when you said that her twin abandoned her. And I wonder if they tricked her, and instead what they did was hijack the baby through a hybrid program, and maybe the mom was guilty over that, and that's why she acted the way she did.
I do feel that there was interference and the mother did act like that. That part resonates. I do feel that this particular twin has reincarnated. And Ginger, do you think that twin and then the reincarnation of that twin and how that the twin maybe affected how your mother treated you, is that also affecting this inner girl with the big wide eyes?
It could be. I know who that twin is now. So
why
yes,
don't you tell the little girl? So. Yeah, tell the little girl then that everything's worked out and you've done work around it, and she doesn't need to be afraid or feel abandoned. And I hear her speaking, Ginger. She's saying that she didn't know, that she thought it was her fault that her twin had vanished, that's what they made her think, and they made her feel guilty. So if you can talk to her and tell her that, you know, they were evil, they lied, you know who your twin is, that twin is back, everything's okay, see if she'll take your hand and come forward in time and integrate with you.
Yeah, I think she will.
Okay. Then tell her you need her to go through the Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing, so no trauma comes, just her wisdom that she now knows that ETs trick little kids like that. And maybe you want to sign another contract with yourself now that you know these things, Ginger, that you will never let an ET trick any way, whether it's, you know, through a vanished twin or any way. No, they cannot. No ETs that break universal law for any reason. They can't. To be, there we go, the energy's clearing. Can you feel that, Ginger?
Yeah.
Me too. Ken, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling chills again.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
All right, yeah, me too. So Ginger, let me know when you think you've gathered together all of your inner girls and that they've come through the Venusian portal and they're in your body, but you're still back in that timeline with Nick. And let me know when you're there, and then we'll walk you through.
Well, one of them, I think it might be the last one, she wants to know about what they did to her, and I don't know if this is appropriate to ask on this call.
Okay, then. Okay, I do see what they did to her, and I would ask that I don't need to say it out loud, but I'm telepathically telling the little girl. I'll tell you, Ginger, later off air because I know you don't want this on the show. But if
I don't mind if it's on the show. I just didn't know if it was like okay for you guys. I'm, you know, because I've had issues my whole life, and so I just never understood why.
Well, what I'm seeing is that they used her for hybrid purposes, and she probably has offspring in other places. And so what you can do now is you can contact any beings that may be from other places and say, by universal law, they have the right to choose where they want to be because they were a result of something you didn't know happened, and you want whatever in their highest and holiest, I'm assuming, and that you want that little girl to know that you are nulling and voiding out ever from her or you or any time you exist, that you will never allow for yourself to be unconsciously used by ETs who break universal law and go against your free will to use you for hybrid. Wow, I'm feeling a lot of clearing. What are you experiencing, Ginger?
I'm just really cold.
Yeah, this is going
so
into...
Did they erase my memory, or did I do that to protect myself?
They erased your memory.
Okay.
You're pretty brave, so I suspect that a lot of this, at some point, you would have... Yeah, here we go, the energy. Now I'm going to start to speak. You have 3 hybrid children in addition to your biological children in this lifetime through your physical body as Ginger. These other 3, there's 2 male, 1 female, and the little girl says she's showing them to you, Ginger, because she wants you to know, and she's wanting you to untether yourself from them in a dysfunctional way and let them, because technically they're adults wherever they are, kind of like your kids now are adults. And so, yeah, there you go. I can feel you making contact with them. And you don't need to decide, or they don't need to decide while we're on the show, but if you can get the little girl to integrate with you, then we'll move forward in time, and then you can choose how you're going to have a relationship or not with those 3 hybrids. Let me know if that's okay with you.
Yes, that's fine, and she's coming forward now.
Okay. And let me know then when it's all come through the Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing, and I want to offer that to your 3 hybrid children too, that wherever they are, to go through the Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing, Venus being the most exalted love planet. And then they can go where they need to go. Wow, they're just moving on. They're all scientists, and they're going to work with hybrids of others to free them. So what they're telling me is that they are going to go someplace in the universe where other hybrid children who didn't come through with a human mother but were part human, but they're someplace else and being essentially held captive, that they're putting out a blueprint to say, hey, if you want to take back your sovereignty and take back your free will in this free will universe, they're going to help them. So that's like the ripple effect of this. Does that feel right to you, Ginger?
Yeah, I mean, I'm freezing right now.
Okay. Hallelujah, hallelujah, they are born, they are born. Hallelujah, hallelujah, they are born. I see each of them relaxing into the presence of now at 0-point gravity with the Holy Spirit. And they have many, many angelic beings around them. And now I'm coming back to you, Ginger, as you stand there in that time and space with Mick with you. Are you ready to come back up through time and come into the body that you're in now?
Yes.
And is Mick okay with you now? Also, I don't want to jump his gun either. Let me know if he's ready. If he needs something, I want to help him.
I don't know. We're both saying it's nice to be together again, but yeah, it needs to happen.
Okay. Well, I did use the word gun, which isn't a word I normally use. I want to just make sure that when I said that word around Mick, that like I'm wondering if that's how he dropped his body in this lifetime or something. I'm actually getting a yes on that, Ginger. Does that resonate to you?
I don't know. I mean, was it self-inflicted or was it an accident?
I'm feeling that it was, to be honest, I'm feeling murder. I feel like somebody, I see a car accident, I see other people in it, but I'm also seeing something with a gun and a bullet. And actually, I'm seeing the bullet being extracted from Mick. So I don't know all what that was about, but he's like thanking. He says, "Thank God." So I don't know what that was, but I feel like he's lighter. So what are you experiencing with that, Ginger?
I mean, I just have to process that. I didn't know how he passed, so yeah.
Okay, well so let's bring whatever that whole thing was, whether it was this lifetime or another. Let's put it through that Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing. And now I see him taking your hand, and you're starting the journey where you're coming up through any and all experiences that you've ever had, whether it was together or apart in this lifetime, and recalibrating the energy so that it's receiving everything that it needed in any moment, so that you can kind of catch up to yourselves and come into the present moment safe and blessed by the Holy Spirit. There we go, right there, Ginger. Let me know. I feel you coming back. You're out of the karmic boardroom. Your higher self's moving through your soul body. It's coming back into your physical body. And I do see Mick standing to your right. And he looks physical to me. I understand he's crossed over, but I see him physically, not so much light that I saw before. And I still see him holding your hand. I do see Matthew, the spirit of Matthew, standing in front of you. I see your dad's spirit, but they're with you, like where you are. I can see your dogs, and I can see you. So take some deep breaths and really get nice and grounded. And Ken, please get nice and grounded. And I'm going to do the same thing. There we go. That's very nice. And anyone listening to the show, get nice and grounded. If you followed all of that, we want everyone to become into the presence of now at 0 point gravity, feeling the blessing of the Holy Spirit, trusting that living life force, that we are all safe and blessed, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Ginger, how do you feel?
I feel good. I'm just like blown away by all of this, but I feel really good.
So do you feel like if we end the show, you could sit with us, or do you need us to be with you as you're processing?
Well, I'm looking at my dogs, and I was wondering, because what I forgot to mention in that Rasha session, the thing I did feel was one of my dogs jumped up on the seat with me. Obviously, he wasn't there, but he was there in spirit. I could hear it. I could see him with my eyes, and I knew that he was telling me that he was going to protect me. And I kept telling him to go home, that I was okay, and I really didn't want him to get messed up with it. So I don't know if you are able to, but can you just see if my dogs are okay?
Well, what's the name of the dog that you're referring to?
That one is Toby.
Okay. Was Toby an animal of yours at the time when you were being abducted around 4 years old? So your reincarnation
yes.
of? Okay.
Yes.
So what was Toby's name when you were 4?
Tiger.
Tiger. Okay. So let's look at let's go into Toby's Akashic records and see when he was okay yet. So say the name again. When you were 4, the dog's name?
Tiger.
Tiger. So Tiger, yes, Tiger absolutely was being abducted right along with you and experimented on. So let's bring that. Tiger's growling at me. I'm going to have Tiger look at Toby and let Toby reassure Tiger that it's okay now to move through that Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing and clear out any interference, and see if Toby can also have a soul retreat. Whoa! Okay, I'm feeling that happening. What are you feeling, Ginger?
I don't feel anything.
Okay, then I'll just communicate with Toby and Tiger. Yeah, I feel like Toby's quieting, and I do see Tiger moving in. That was exhausting for Tiger back then. So, Toby, as you integrate Tiger, if you need to rest a little bit more, that's okay. But if you have any further problem, I want you to let me know telepathically, and I'll get a hold of Ginger, and we'll do more work. He says done.
Okay. He just laid down, closed his eyes, so that was good.
Okay, so the second dog's name is?
The second dog's name is Garth, but he was Polo back then.
Okay, so let's see how, Polo also. I can see trauma here. Don't see abduction, but I see freaked out. So again, let's just ask for this dog's energy spirit to move through the Venusian portal of unconditional love and true healing, and then safely integrate with Garth. I see Garth laying his back with all four paws up, belly up. So that one seems to be moving a little easier.
Okay.
And you have more dogs, right?
I do. I have two more, and they were there too.
Okay, so what's the third dog's name?
The third one is Millie, and she was Baby back then.
Okay. Baby was regularly abducted, even when not around you, and disappeared. So I think that they still have her, honestly. So let's see. So that part, so you've got part of the dog with you. Part of the dog's still in a ship. Never done this before. I don't know if you go into Dog Akashic Record. Okay, let's go over the Rainbow Bridge. I'm going to go over there and see if the part of the dog, when it went that way, if it can then, no, I can't do it that way. Let me go back over. So I'm just going to go into, no, I better not go on the ship like that. Beanie is an Eben that Ken and I work with. I'm going to ask Beanie to go, and Beanie's like, no, not going to do it. So Beanie's the wrong decision. Maybe, Ken, can you think of someone we've worked with that might be able to go get a dog off of a space? So actually, I've got it. It's Quantum. Quantum. Yeah, I've got Quantum. Quantum is a dog I worked with in Mount Shasta who was a German Shepherd. So what kind of dog was this dog that you were talking about, Ginger?
Baby was a German Shepherd also.
Okay. So Quantum was a dog that lived in Mount Shasta who I worked with regularly, who told me that he would go into the mountain at night and he would work with the spirits of dogs to help the humans deal with, being abducted and having experiences. So Quantum is deceased now. He died about 6 weeks ago. He's coming in. He's actually going on the ship, and he's going to your dog that was a German Shepherd. He's bringing the dog. And the ETs who took him aren't interfering because they realize that they were already, rebuked. So I'm going to call in the Universal Police and the Karmic Board. Okay, we don't call in the Karmic Board. Call in the Universal Police to go in and yep, there we go. Okay, so here comes the soul retrieval for, did you say it was Millie?
Millie in this lifetime, yes.
Okay, so Millie's getting a healing. Okay, that looks really good. And Quantum's going to stay with her to try to help her through that, and I'm going to the fourth dog. What's the fourth dog name?
The fourth dog is Macy, and she was Lady in that lifetime.
Okay, so Lady, I see needs a soul retrieval, but I see Macy in this lifetime has been taken aboard ship and has been experimented on. So if you notice that dog in particular is stressed out?
Well, I would say Millie is stressed out and confused, so not having part of herself would make sense for her. Macy is more hyper, she has a ton of energy and just she can't regulate.
No, she can't regulate. So we need to, actually, I don't know what to do with her. I don't think I can do that on the air. I think maybe we'll ask Dr. Nell. No, they're telling me I can do it. But I'm seeing some ETs coming at me that I think need some support here. So what were you saying before, Ken?
I said I felt before that the mother was part of a hybrid program, and they hijacked the twin.
Yes. Okay, and that's actually affecting this dog. Okay, that's interesting. So Macy is part of a hybrid dog that's reincarnated over and over again, that's actually kept you, like it's been overseeing what your mother did, right? Like, and your mother didn't know what she was doing. I don't think your mother would have chosen to do this. It was probably all. So I agree with what Ken just said, and with that, let's bring in Quantum, again, the German Shepherd I was talking about previously with your other dog. Now he's going to Macy, and he's working with clearing the energy, and he's looking at me and he's saying that your mother has had dogs. Has she ever had other German Shepherds?
She has Dobermans.
Greyhounds? Dobermans, okay. Yeah, those are all part of the monitoring or the grooming that keeps, the more a human has that animal heart where they really love an animal, but then the animal is still part of all this. That's one of the ways the ETs have tricked us, not only through what we talked about before, through this. So now Beanie's coming in and the Eben High Council, and they're going to take over and start working with Quantum and doing a big healing, and your dog is like, oh, thank God. And I'm hearing proceed in reading, so I'm going to circle around and see where I'm going, coming back around. Okay, so they want me to talk about when I was abducted when I was 6. The first night was the same night as Betty and Barney Hill. My dog, it's a long story, but my dog, I don't even want to talk about it, but my dog is now one of my cats. And so the same thing that we're uncovering here, I need to make sure that that cat is receiving this healing. And again, anyone else listening, if these healings resonate to you, you can receive it as a surrogate healing for yourself and your animals. And now I'm hearing to proceed and end this call and this healing. So, Ginger, how are you feeling now?
I feel good. I feel really like I'm blown away, Robin. This was incredible. But just to know that my animals are good and I'm good, and I got answers, lifelong answers today. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Do you feel safe?
I do feel safe. I do. Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm thrilled to hear that. Ken, how about you? What are you feeling? Anything you want to share?
Yes. Of all the sessions we've done with this podcast here, I felt today Ginger had the heaviest burden of anybody that we've ever had on. And it seemed like it was so heavy to her when we started that it almost was like smothering her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and
accurate.
And now it seems like it's gone. But it was really heavy, Ginger. From other people that I heard, I could sense that you felt really, really distraught and that really needed to talk to Robin.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. That's true.
Ginger, it's interesting. Today is International Women's Day, and it's all about remembering to give women their voices. And look how much you spoke up about deep, really soulful things that have been crushing you. And like Ken said, this is a blessing, and maybe just the magic of this day will help even more people. So,
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. So for anyone listening, we close the session in deep love and unconditional love and true healing. Let's run the whole show through that Venusian portal as it goes out to whoever listens. And remember, like Ginger, guests in the seat of honor on the Believe Me Movement podcast share with us their very personal experiences of either seeing a UFO, being abducted, their or their pet health issues, or any paranormal experience that they're trying to make sense of. Now, as you listen, we remind you you're going to have a mind-bending experience because you're not used to this type of openness and perhaps not this type of healing work. But we need to think outside of the box. So you've got to acknowledge that the Believe Me movement is an experience, not an explanation. We're not telling you what to think, but we do ask you to have an open mind. The Believe Me movement offers a relaxed and safe space for those of you courageous enough to share your profound experiences and sometimes befuddling experiences as a live guest on our podcast. So when you're ready, like Ginger was, to talk about what's inside of you, email me at spiritladyrobin@gmail.com. That's spiritladyrobin@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the show. And this show is brought to you by Ken. He's the best-selling author of the book, We're Not Alone, and Here's the Proof. And when you go to Amazon or when you ask for the book, there's more than one author called Ken Sylvester. So you do need to say you want the We're Not Alone and Here's the Proof. Now, I also wrote part of a chapter with Ken in that book. I wrote another book called A Conversation with Extraterrestrials. That is a parenting book. And it is a book about the very thing that if you really want to be a good parent, and I do say good parent in today's world, you have to know that probably experiences with extraterrestrials is only going to increase with our children. And you as a parent, the last thing you want to do is dismiss your child. So you can see the damage that it can do. Why would you do that? So even if you haven't had an experience, if your kid's coming to you, come on the show if you don't understand how to help them. And we'll help you help yourself and help them. Now, let me tell you, this podcast is brought to you by my website, robinalexis.com. I have a lot of metaphysical gifts, and if I can help you, you can have a private personal reading. You can have what's called a Reiki Healing Week, and or you can join the membership on my website, where you can also get support for any type of paranormal experience that you're starting to have. So the thing I ask you now, pay attention, listen up. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Believe Me Movement. That's how we're going to get those algorithms out, and that's how people are going to know about the very unique opportunity you have to be held with respect as you tell your story and the seat of honor of the Believe Me Movement. Over and out.
Over and out.